Yo everyone, what's up? I'm with Tristen Tyler Blake. We are in Costa Rica. We have just finished up some of our own explorations that we've been doing, and we have now merged with one another for our explorations together. We are looking at land in Costa Rica to build regenerative community on, that includes science, spirituality, engineering, art,
music.
That was perfectly said at the same time. I love it.
And of course, I love it.
Yeah, and Tristen's been on the show several times, and I'm super pumped to be sharing with you guys what we're currently talking about in the car ride, which is that the beautiful way to explain the nature of reality simply through infinity and finity. Ultimately, they are one. We create the juxtaposition to shed light on our true nature. And so I'll lay out a little bit of a foundation, and then we'll have Tristen hit the tennis ball back and we'll keep chatting about it. So in many ways, finity can be thought of as the study of form, the study of matter, the study of, as we can play with this analogy, the beet salad. Out of all possibilities of food, this is a beet salad. So finity is the study of the beet salad that we're currently tasting. Awareness is currently experiencing a beet salad. Now, to juxtapose that with infinity. Now, infinity is all possible food. So there's chicken soup in there, there's steak dinner, there's lettuce wraps, there's all of the possibility space of food. So our true nature is infinity, which is the absolute, the highest, which endlessly expresses itself as these different food options. Like this earth right now is a beet salad, and then it uses awareness as the observational agent to experience that beet salad. So we'll go ahead and hit the tennis ball over to Tristen and see how he feels about this.
So yeah, throw the beat over to me.
The beet.
Russians actually have a very...
we love beets.
We love beets. So apparently now our philosophies are like converging on our...
on our lineages.
Yeah.
Heritages.
So, well, I'm very interested in what exactly, out of all the possibility space of, different... what are these actual salads and food forms? Like, what are they metamorphoses? What are these metaphors for? Right? What do they actually consist of when you jump into one of them? So let's just jump out of the beet salad that we're currently in, which is Costa Rica and the world and all of its
inhabitants,
history and stories and cultures,
exactly.
All that stuff.
Perfect.
Right? Because there's no reason why Napoleon didn't win in that battle, and then history would have been different. I mean, these are very kind of ephemeral little changes that they transform the rest of history and push it into a new, there might not have been the Soviet Union or these other superpowers growing just because the initial conditions would have been changed.
So you want to leap us over into chicken soup? What does chicken soup look like?
Yes,
okay.
I'm very curious.
So, all right. Why was Walt Disney so obsessed with imagination? Why is Imagineering such an important word? Why is it so important to take oneself outside of the beet salad to imagine what chicken soup looks like? Because then one becomes more and more familiar experientially with infinity. So in this case, it would be something like the exploration of other math and physics. It would be the exploration of other vehicles for awareness. These vehicles have 4 limbs, they have 2 eyes, they have DNA encoding, carbon-based, and they're beautiful. They're incredible vehicles, but they're only one in the possibility space of vehicles. And the universe itself, this one song, this beet salad, is one exploration of a specific style of mathematics and physics that is unfolding for this awareness to taste the beet salad. Yeah,
that's a very interesting beet throw. So I just started studying mathematics from ground up. So I actually want to get to the bottom of it. The question is the mathematics we use created, or is it kind of something we're discovering, and is it hidden in a rock, and are we just scraping it away little by little and kind of discovering the universal vocabulary of the of form, of matter?
Both, and I'll share why.
Okay.
So we are the creators of the beet salad experience. So we ourselves wrote the mathematics into place from the beginning, from the Big Bang, from the automata that then turned into a human civilization secreting from a planet called Earth. And it's also discovered by the human civilization that secretes from the planet Earth, that then recognizes, so recognize, but recognize, so we remember the math that we programmed initially.
Okay, so we programmed this math initially. Can you explain that a little bit more? So, from what state are we talking about? And I'm really hearing something interesting, like a super organism, sort of, that made some decision earlier, and we're simply piecing together this larger puzzle of its wish. So a super organism, desire.
Except we are the ones that made the wish. So rather than externalizing it to some other, it is actually us. We are the absolute that wanted to experience and explore itself as a beet salad, to taste the beet salad of experience. And that's what this universe, one song, is the beet salad.
Yeah, I get this intuition that I'm thinking right now about where to have lunch, and my neurons are processing and doing lots of networky things to help me make that decision. And so if you were to ask the neuron individually, kind of what's your particular role in that calculation, like what's your actual goal in that neural network, and what are you solving? And I think we're trying to look just as neurons for some, as you say, larger source, right? So we are the neurons that are sort of processing, and we don't actually have the final answer of what the thought was that we're all processing on behalf of. But life is solving a computational problem, and I think it would be interesting to know what that actual larger decision was. So my decision is to look for lunch. What is this other? The
decision was
computational request.
The request was for us to taste a beet salad, and we are tasting the beet salad through our experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we send information back up the higher order
We
chain?
are
Is there a
so
way to do this?
we are that which is the artificial intelligence. We are that which is the machine learning. We are that which actually takes in the data or the input of what a beet salad tastes like in experience of this rock orbiting the star with
We're the
specific
sensor. We're the
civilization.
receptor.
We're the receptor. We're the sensor.
Yeah.
And so endlessly, we will continue exploring what all of the other tastes of different foods are like.
Or just experiences. So foods being kind of a way to just
Use a metaphor to describe.
use a metaphor. So this metaphor is describing, because I really want to get to the bottom of what it's actually.
I'll give you another imagination example. So
Yeah.
when you create a vehicle for awareness in a different universe, a different one song, a different taste, you want to taste chicken soup, in that universe, you may create a vehicle for awareness that does not have eyes and a nose and
It has photoreceptors, but of a different, like, skin, on their skin or something.
yeah, it'll have a completely different sensory apparatus, a different perceptual apparatus.
The
a
eye
different
evolved many times.
intuitive
independently,
apparatus,
right?
etc.
So there's the eye that evolved, just in separate ways, like the octopus eye and the human eye are from completely different origins. So what are these other sensory things that you're imagining, right? So we have a couple, and we're not talking about the five senses that that are kind of typically associated, because there's thousands of sensors all across your body, heat, temperature sensors.
Here's another one. Stretch your imagination outside of what a design looks like, where it's no longer 3 dimensions with another dimension of time. So you can go from 3-1, 3 space, 1 time, to what it's like to have 3 space and 2 time, or 2 space and 2 time. There's all of these different arrangements to explore that we are just one experiencing. We're experiencing just one, which is the beet salad.
Can you explain these dimensions a little bit? Because
Yeah,
so I have a mathematical
So it would be
understanding of like what that is.
It would be something like.
So I know there's X, Y, and let's say Z.
Yeah, and then if we, instead of having 1 dimension of time, imagine if rather than having just 1 clock, if we had 2 clocks.
2 dimensions of time.
Okay, so you have 2 clocks. 1 clock is like the current civilizational clock that we're using right now, and then another clock is something that you've never imagined before. It's something that's wildly beautiful and eccentric. Maybe something like if you're planning to meet with somebody, you're meeting with them at 12 o'clock on the left wristwatch, but also 6 o'clock on the right wristwatch. But somebody else is meeting with someone else at 12 o'clock on the left wristwatch and 3 o'clock on the right wristwatch.
I think time has some relationship with like physics and quantum
Totally
mechanics.
does.
Like so from what I understand, let's just say you fly next to a black hole, its pull on you will deviate your time, your actual the actual amount of time that is passing, because it's kind of related to the like curve of space-time. So the space and time seem to have a relationship, and I think gravity plays a role in that. So to have 2 different wrist watches, you would just have to have arms that are long enough to be gravitated towards like some kind of black hole or something like that. And then I'm sure you can't have 2. You need an arm pointing at a different black hole, basically. Yeah, time is very interesting, and particularly directions of time that are possible. I think actually going forward in this, in the next few years, some of the physics that's coming out right now is going to be dealing with sensing gravity and with being able to, well, try to measure it. I mean, apparently, you know, in order to pick up on gravitons, or these little like subatomic particles of gravity, you would need a particle accelerator that reaches from the sun to Jupiter or something like that. So it's so small, each unit, that to detect it would require a massive amount of energy, way more than we have. So
in general, what we're trying to describe through this podcast conversation is that the analysis of the beet salad is fantastic and it's beautiful, but it's even more important than the analysis of the beet salad is to recognize that one's true nature is the infinite combinations of food that are explored endlessly, and that way we are not blinded by the illusion that all there is just the beet salad.
So what else is there? So I like, I'm a lot more into the kind of the finite space in that example. I really love kind of using the principles that are available, particularly in the scientific method, to achieve or derive experimental kind of like demonstrable results, you know, that are repeatable. In the infinite space, what's there that is, for example, in this, like, what's there that is not available in the physical material realm?
All of the possibilities. In the finite, you have the beet salad, and it's fantastic and it tastes great, but it's just the beet salad.
Can we, this metaphor, it's very valuable and useful, but I would like to use a more kind of concrete term of actually something that I'm familiar. I don't even eat that many beets.
Here's another way to say it, is that this earth is one way to paint a blank canvas.
Okay.
You have endless ways to paint a blank canvas, and that you've become associated, that most people alive on the planet have become associated with themselves as the one painting that is the planet Earth, rather than the blank canvas that is eternally painted in all infinite possibility. So another example is the music. So Earth is one combination of musical notes pieced together into a song. It's a very beautiful song. We all adore it very much. Lots of people do. Some people don't. And when you explore the possibility space of piecing together all different combinations of musical notes into songs, you will never come to the end of that. And so that is your true nature, is the one that eternally listens and experiences the songs. You have just become accustomed to listening to only one song, Planet Earth, and you think that your true nature is only living in the body, in Planet Earth. But your true nature is both that and the infinite. But one must go to the infinite first and begin associating themselves with that, and then they can properly integrate being the beet salad, or being this song, or being this coloration on a blank canvas properly, because they know themselves as the blank canvas. They know themselves as the endless possibility of all the possible combinations of musical notes.
So this is a conversation about free will and recognizing your the freedom of that free will, kind of like the space of free decisions that you have potentially, and maximizing on that, and then from there deciding what's the best sort of decision based on all of the range of possibilities, right? I kind of see this as I've been thinking about a lot about free will recently, And I've been shaken by the idea that these bacteria control our behaviors and decisions. And they're finding more and more parasites that are able to influence our thoughts and our kind of our desires or goals. And we are being influenced by hundreds of billions of organisms. So, and we are not a single one, like I'm not a single guy. There's many, many, many things taking place to keep me here, and many bacteria that I'm very grateful for. And so transitioning to this view of the world of being a cloud of information or a cloud of life, and then interacting with other clouds is definitely a very valuable sort of frame to look from in order to appreciate life in general, and just life's kind of beautiful complexity, you know. So free will has shaken. I've been shaken because these things that control our behaviors, like what percentage of our free will is available for quote unquote the the individual, the Tristen there to make, versus the bacterial decision, the viral probably decision, the actual kind of unconscious decision that was already made, the chemical decisions, the hormonal and stuff. Like, what percentage do you think of the full spectrum of choices is the decision available to me versus other forces?
Yeah, it's a super exciting question, yet at the same time we can also come up with the answer: where is the line of separation between you and the 1,000 species of gut bacteria that live inside of you? And the answer is there is no line of separation. It's one symbiotic mind, body, spirit complex unit, and that it's harmonized together as a cohesive whole. And that there is clearly, very clearly, a beautiful genetic expression that happens from the 1,000 species of gut bacteria, which each have about 2,000 or so genetic expressions. So you got about 2 million genetic expressions that are happening from gut bacteria, and then you have about 20,000 human gene expressions. So you have about 100x more bacterial gene expressions happening. So you could potentially say that there's a lot of dominating power that's coming from the bacterial forces. And yet at the same time, there's a lot of will and choice and prefrontal control, also executive functioning, that's coming from the unit's ability to make a divine alignment towards a North Star, towards a noble aim, towards something that is transcendent, and not something that's just limbic, not something that's just primal. Instant gratification fosters lethargy and gluttony, whereas delayed gratification, that more top-down prefrontal control, using will or choice to pursue something that's noble or transcendent, that's delayed gratification, and that provides a lot more love, light, meaning, purpose, fulfillment, peace, joy, abundance, well-being, prosperity, flourishing. Those things are a product of one's ability to delay their gratification. Walter Mischel and the marshmallow experiment are probably one of the most important experiments that's ever been done, and really boiling down to simply delaying gratification, more prefrontal and less limbic.
They should have used chocolate rather than marshmallow. Like, I don't, I really think that because I've recently been dancing with cacao trees. I went on this little journey. We're going actually. I think we're going to meet more cacao trees. These are very special plants, and so cacao brought me there. The chocolate. Like, I always wanted to know the origin of my just passion for chocolate. I eat it at least 3 times a day, and so I've been thinking about the marshmallow test, and it's like, yeah, I bet the chocolate results, like if we can redo the experiment but with chocolate, what kind of results would you get? Like, would people be able to, if there was like a Ferrero Rocher sitting there, how likely are people to pass the test? Do you still have any chocolate left from the previous?
No, we will pick some more up though.
No. Let's. It's still recording, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
let's wrap.
Well, let's just tell them a little bit about the trip. You know, kind of like give them some insight into where we're going.
Let's do it. So we were in the northwest of Costa Rica. Tristen has been spending. Are you on your 3rd month almost here?
Yeah.
So Tristan's on his 3rd month in Costa Rica. I'm on my 2nd week in Costa Rica, and
It's been good. This place is delivered.
Costa Rica is basically one of the hubs for planetary enlightenment. It's going to become one of the hubs for it. It already is becoming it very quickly.
Yeah.
For planetary engineering, planetary science, planetary awakening, all of those coming together. And we spent some time near the Volcano Miravares today at a volcanic lodge. That was fantastic. In the central part of Costa Rica, we are now driving down to a late lunch meeting that we are having in La Fortuna, where we are further exploring the land purchase options and microclimates and geographies. Then we are heading to the east coast towards Limon and exploring some more over there. And we'll be doing this for about almost another week. And we should, by the end of the year, we have the aim to have secured a plot of land with our investor friends that are very excited in the community we're building, and to have begun the basic architectures on the property to enable anywhere from 10 to 20 people or so to probably live there year-round, people that are working on next generation energy technologies and much else.
3D printing,
3D
farms.
printing, farms.
Yeah, I want a
agriculture.
3D printer farm on a farm.
And then about 100 to 200 people capacity for when we do
Special
larger
events.
scale events, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about right now is shifting from finity, from only the beet salad, to infinity, all possible combinations of food that we are endlessly tasting, is a massive part of the pedagogy that we will be discussing at the regenerative community. Because the utility of it is that you move away from being a contracted, egoic, finite, separate entity that feels like a hairless monkey on a rock orbiting a star that's meaningless. And you move away from that contracted energy where you're trying to seek peace and happiness by extracting it from the beet salad. Instead, what you do is you recognize your own infinite nature. You feel an expansion in your energy. You feel a relaxation of that contraction. You recognize that we all share our same source. We all share our same awareness. And what we are doing is we are experiencing a beet salad out of an infinite possibility of food. So we've been experiencing different food. We're going to keep experiencing other
Does every
food.
person experience different foods? Like, Because I kind of
I
sense...
can briefly wrap just on that point.
Yeah.
Because what happens, the utility of that recognition is that you no longer have any tendency to commit violence, because you recognize that we share our source and our awareness. You no longer have malevolence or an extractive will from the others, but rather you recognize that we share our being in this beet salad, and therefore we maximize our collective potential harmony, prosperity, and abundance through these recognitions. Now, the question was something about, do we perceive somewhat similar in terms of this beet salad?
Yeah, like I'm definitely experiencing a very specific experience compared to...
Of the beet salad. You're viewing, in a sense, you're viewing the beet salad can be thought of like a soccer game. Football. You're viewing football right now, but you're viewing it from behind Barcelona's goalie. And I'm viewing it from the half line of the field. Right? So we're experiencing Barcelona playing Madrid in a soccer game that's also a beet salad, and you're watching it from behind Barcelona's goalkeeper, which in the second half it's going to be Madrid's goalkeeper, and I'm watching it from the halfway line. So we're watching the beet salad and tasting the beet salad. We're watching the soccer game from two different positions, which is why you're seeing some of the nuances around what happens when the ball, Madrid is attacking and is crossing the ball in and trying to volley or head it into Barcelona's goal, versus you're seeing those nuances. I can't see them as clearly. Whereas I'm seeing the nuances near the half line really clearly, and you're not. And so that's the beauty of having 8 billion unique agents experiencing the beet salad or the Barcelona versus Madrid football match simultaneously.
No, these metaphors are quite challenging to, for me at least, to kind of wrap my head around. I actually don't play enough football.
Did you get how there's 8 billion observers?
Yes, in the stadium.
In the stadium, yeah.
So no, that's a good.
That's good that you got. Well, it's good that you got that part. Yeah.
And everyone has their own kind of perspective on the players and the ball.
Yeah. And the referee.
Yeah, these are all different shots. So, so the question is kind of, is this? So every person has their own experience of reality, but and you're saying that the beet salad is the actual stadium?
Yeah. So the beet salad is the game that's being played, and that the next game that's going to be played, let's say it's played on the. Well, the next game, let's say that's going to be played, it might not even be. It could be something like a World Cup match between, let's say, like Argentina and Spain. It could be that. So instead of Barcelona and Madrid, it's shifted that. Or it could be instead a different sport that is played all together. It could shift to a basketball game.
Well, this is actually a pretty good condition, because the physics of the universe, right? They sort of are the constants. Only allow, like, the field is only built in a certain way that can play a certain sport. Like, if you don't have a basketball court, you can't play basketball, and you can't play football on a basketball court, you know, in that sense. So the conditions of this universe, mathematically and material science wise,
from the Big Bang until the civilization, enabled the Barcelona versus Madrid match. And then what happens is, as we've been talking about with Sir Roger Penrose and many other of the world leading physicists, now have cyclic cosmological understandings that where we're going is where we came from. So as we came from a Big Bang, we are going towards endless future Big Bangs. So we're going to continue exploring more food options. So next up is chicken soups and steak dinners and lettuce wraps, or in other words, we're going to play basketball games and tennis matches, and we're going to go and golf 18 holes, all this type of stuff.
So from what I understand of
and that's going to require different math and physics from the Big Bangs. That's going to require different unfoldings of the stadiums that enable said sports to play.
From what I've seen in terms of just my personal research, so and this could be misguided, but right now, like there's cosmological eras, and sort of the one that we're in, the Stelliferous and all of these, there's going to be a like a the photon era. I think that's actually the one right now. And then it's leading towards this black hole era where matter collapses and there's photon decay, right? So this universe, are you telling me there's a speculation that it's going to collapse and bounce back? Is that sort of, are we taking that interpretation?
There's
big bounce.
There's two options that I've found so far that are most sort of eloquent in describing this. One of them is sort of this long-term option that you just described, which is some sort of a big bang to big crunch to big bang to big crunch to big bang to big crunch endlessly. And then that's how you experience the beet salad, the chicken soup, the steak dinner, etc. And then that's sort of on this like multi-billion year time scale where we don't necessarily know how much longer we're gonna evolve in this beet salad before we get to the chicken soup, the next exploration. Whereas the second model that I feel like potentially has a stronger resonance is that the same way that we are currently building artificial general intelligence and neurotechnology and biotechnology like the Neuralink, and we're building out these indistinguishable virtual realities, all of those technologies synthesize together into what's been called the metaverse.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so what we hypothesize, like John Smart with the transcension hypothesis, is that what we're going to do in the next 50, 100, 150, 200 years is we're going to build out all of these indistinguishable virtual realities, and we're going to begin immersing ourselves into them for 80 years at a time. And that's what the recursion is. So that's the next exploration of chicken soups and beet salads and basketball games and tennis matches.
You can build your own virtual reality like experience that's probably going to be indistinguishable from this kind of what we're doing right now. Like it won't make a difference if I'm sitting here and driving or if I'm in a headset simulating sitting here and driving, right?
Yeah, which is what this already is, yeah.
Well, I don't know that. I think it would be fun I think it would be great if this was a simulation. I think that's a speculation that could be possible.
You're using awareness to experience the form and identity of Tristen Tyler Blake. You are awareness that is shared and eternal and impersonal, experiencing Tristen Tyler Blake's meat costume, spacesuit. And I'm the impersonal shared awareness, the same as you, same as everybody, experiencing the meat costume spacesuit of Atlas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're saying there's one sort of experiencer, and we are the like the fingertips of this thing, right?
Yeah, like the nerve endings,
or the nerve endings, or the neurons of this thing. And do we have kind of so I would love to have some evidence for this, or some sort of like kind of like a theory, or where would I go to look? Because this it makes sense, it feels intuitively interesting and valuable, kind of to think about that way, right? With the bacteria, hundreds of millions of them.
Let's start with your direct experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So Are you aware?
Am I aware of?
Are you aware? Period. Are you aware? Question mark. Do you?
Yes, of course.
Do you exist? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you see how the question "Am I aware?" or "I am aware" as a statement or a declarative comes before "I am aware of Tristen"? The statement "I am aware" comes before the statement "I am aware of Tristen."
I don't follow.
Okay.
So I am. So you asked me, "Are you aware?"
Yep.
And I sense awareness.
Beautiful. Okay.
And
now we're gonna add attributes. Okay. So now the attributes that we're adding are your name. We've added your name. The next attribute that we can add is your ethnicity. We can add another attribute, which is your career. We can add.
But what if I actually don't? I mean, I don't like. I say my name, but I don't really feel connected to it.
Then you're actually closer to the metaphysical truth, which is "I am aware" is most upstream before "I am aware of Tristen." Before "I am aware" I am in Costa Rica. Before "I am aware" I am in a car driving is "I am aware." Before all of the attributes, before all of the descriptors, before all of the symbolization, the semiotics, before all of that is just the statement "I exist." I am aware. Simple being itself.
Yeah, so that's being itself.
Okay, so now you see there's almost a pure, bare, empty layer to your awareness that is shared with mine, because I have the same direct experience as you do.
Yeah.
I am aware first, and then I am aware of Atlas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way that I came to this a long time ago, this awareness experience, right, is I just felt like there was an iPad in front of my face, or some kind of like tablet, and then I was like, what if I was just to pull it away or pull back from it and see all of the calculations that are taking place unconsciously, right?
Great.
And and then you're like, you can see that the body is adding signals and information to this stream of information that's coming in, and your body's adding kind of red over here, don't do this, fear, like all these little things. So is that what we're talking about? Kind of like that awareness that pulls away from the
that's a great
tablet mask, essentially.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. We've actually been talking about this analogy / metaphor now for about 100 years in spirituality because of the birth of motion picture. So as soon as sort of cinema and film was birthed, we began being able to explain the metaphor or analogy of the movie. Or most recently with the birth of virtual reality, we began using that. Donald Hoffman, who we've had on the show, has a very fascinating way of also explaining that we are mistaking our headset. So we're mistaking Finity, our headset, as ultimate reality, when in reality it's just a beet salad, and we're observing the beet salad through the headset. And so even cutting edge scientists, cognitive scientists like Donald Hoffman and his team, are again synthesizing with spirituality, just like Sir Roger Penrose in physics are also synthesizing with spirituality. So in the movie analogy, like you described a moment ago, the most common way, like many great teachers, Nisargadatta Maharaj has been one of our favorites, explain it quite simply like, you are that which is aware of the movie of driving in Costa Rica. You are that which is aware of driving through Costa Rica.
Can I control it? I'm curious.
And that's where the will and the choice come in. So
How do I make this rain go away?
How do I make this rain go away? That is so funny. So that's one of the upstream causes of suffering, actually, is when people are arguing with the frames of the movie. So if you have craving for alternate frames of the movie, or if you have aversion, if you're trying to get away from certain frames of the movie, you're going to create suffering. So there's simultaneously the radical, unconditional acceptance of the movie frames that come, at the same time that there is a desire for a transcendent, noble aim in the movie. So I am aware first, and then I am aware of Tristen second, and then I am aware of Tristen's North Star third. And so Tristen's North Star might be something like architecting the maximal, abundant, prosperous future as a planet possible. And so that is a divine, very important star, and you will absolutely adjust your movie frames towards that, given your will and choice towards that, versus if you were lethargic and apathetic and gluttonous and didn't give a living shit about any North Star.
Yeah. But that's so that North, like, why do I have a North Star and some people don't? Like, what who decides that? What's the thing that kind of gives to one and not the other, or takes away from one? You know, well, where do we get these, and why some over others? So if there's an infinite source, right? I'm curious, why do some have eyes and some have, some are blind? So that's kind of a, same question about God, but just about the infinite source.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. So the first kind of most macro level answer is that you are not just aware of Tristen, you are also aware simultaneously of all of these units that are experiencing the beat salad. So the unit that is currently lacking the desire for a transcendent noble aim or North Star, you are also them simultaneously as you are you. And so that is a macro level view of it. And then a sort of secondary view of it is something like the importance of having contrast, very similar to how yesterday when we were driving, right now we're currently driving on a quite smooth paved road in Costa Rica.
Show them.
And you can probably see a little bit in the back, but yeah.
Show them the front. This is cool.
Yeah,
This will be
I'll show you guys quick. Yeah, I will. I'll adjust it. Yeah, I will.
I think it actually should be. It should be the road, and then our voices. Like, it actually should be.
I'll adjust it back afterward.
Yeah, perfect like this.
So, right now we're driving on this quite smooth road, and yesterday we were actually driving on a bumpy volcanic road where we were rocking back and forth nonstop. And the reason why I bring it up is because we had an experience of contrast where we were able to have a deeper amount of gratitude and a deeper amount of recognizing the difference between being on a road that is bumpy versus a road that is smooth. And so in a sense, very similarly with our creativity that we've designed this reality with as the beet salad, that we have
Bush.
We have
I want some bush right now. What do you do?
we have we have created the contrast in the beet salad, where we have a, similar to the bumpy road and smooth road, we have those that are more enlightened, and we have those that are more egotistical. We have those that live in finity, F-I-N-I-T-Y, finity, finite, life. Those that think that they are only the beet salad. And then we have those that are more enlightened. We have those that know themselves as infinite. We have those that know themselves as that which eternally tastes all possible combinations of food, and this being just one expression of that. And so we need that contrast in order for this play to happen, for this play to undergo. And that when we experience chicken soup or lettuce wraps...
Affogato. Affogato.
Affogato. What is affogato?
Oh my god, it's a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Oh.
And then you pour a espresso on top of it.
Oh.
And then you eat it. And you know what I like about it the most?
And then you look at it.
And then you stare at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the infinite affogato.
Infinite affogato.
So yeah, this thing. You know what I like about it the most? It's like
Is that Italian or is that actually from here?
I think it's Italian.
Yeah. Okay.
It's we're gonna go to a cafe right now in La Fortuna, which has I was drinking like 3 affogatos a day there for like a month and a half. Just that was my cafe.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, but
vanilla ice cream
with a shot of espresso.
Nice.
It's so good, and whenever I go to like restaurants, I always look for it.
Yeah, it'd be exciting to hit that. By the way, one of the locals, Tony, that we were hanging out with a couple of days ago, ended up communicating to me that there's this cute little bit of rainfall that happens between, he said, 1 and 2 o'clock, and it's exactly like 1:50 when it rained. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of funny that Costa Rican microclimates are like this. All right, that's a wrap. I adore you all so much. We adore you. We're super grateful for you tuning in to this episode. I'm really happy that we were able to unpack some very Explain Like I'm 5 understandings of infinity and finity, and also create a lot of good alchemical container space for you to transmute and transform yourself through these very simple Explain Like I'm 5 analogies and metaphors. And so do let us know your thoughts in the comments below on the episode. We'd love to hear from you. If the video brought you value, give it a like. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and share the video with people you feel like this would make a positive impact on. And I'm glad that you guys have also gotten the update from Tristen and I about what we're doing here this week, and in terms of what we're creating together and building the future.
I want to take them so this episode is just about what's on your mind, kind of the finite infinite.
Both of ours
Well, yeah. I mean, we have different different frameworks for observing and understanding these things.
Yeah, we'll explore a lot of other things, including the analysis of form, science.
I think there's many other subjects
at a deeper
to cover
level. Of course, we will. Of course,
dance.
We will. And dance, art, play, all the good stuff.
There's a lot of different things to discuss during this trip. So
we will. We adore you all.
Tell us what you want us to talk about. Actually, that's a good point. Let us know what you want us to...
Drop that in the comments below.
Yeah, exactly.
We love you. Much love. Talk to you soon. Peace. Woo! Pura vida! Woo!
Don't give him the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're getting closer.